Now, earlier in the program, we were inside SaveMart in Newlyn, Auckland. We've been looking at SaveMart all week after workers at the clothing recycling stores complained about their working conditions. Over the past week, we've spoken to current and former employees from throughout the country who've told us they're not allowed to wear gloves when they're sorting items that are collected from the blue child cancer clothing bins. They told us their health and safety has been compromised on occasions when they come across broken glass, household rubbish, soiled nappies, underpants, even dead animals and syringes. SaveMart's owner Tom Doonan has repeatedly refused all our requests for interviews. Tom, if you're listening, we'd love to talk to you now, but insists workers are provided with gloves. He did allow us to visit the Newlyn store yesterday where we discovered the staff were segregated and only the non-union members were available to speak to us. The union that represents the Workers' First Union is taking legal action against the textile recycling company which owns SaveMart and its owner, Tom Doonan. This former employee worked at SaveMart Newlyn for 4 years. Her story mirrors the stories of at least 20 staff members we've talked to this week. No gloves, no pre-sorting and very difficult working conditions.
People would defecate in our changing rooms and we would be expected to clean it up, but we weren't given gloves, we weren't given bleach, anything. We were given plastic bags, a broom and a mop with hot water.
Tom Doonan, the owner, has told us there are gloves freely available for staff to use and he gets them from Bunnings. Was that your experience in the 4 years you spent?
No, never. The only gloves we were ever semi-provided with was woolen, fingerless black gloves to wear on the shop in winter because it gets so cold.
So in terms of sorting and the material that you might find as you were going through those bales, you were never offered gloves?
No, and when you were asked about it, you were strictly told you can't feel if the product is wet, damp or muddy, that sort of thing, and so therefore you can't have gloves.
What did you find during your time working there? What did you come across in the bales?
It was very rare that I sorted. I was mainly shop floor staff. However, if the shop floor staff questioned or misstepped or just did anything that they considered wasn't okay, we were sent to sort for a few days as a punishment, like it was a threat that hung over our head. But you'd find everything. Dead animals, needles, nappies. It was horrible. People would throw out shoes that clearly had to be put in the bin, not, you know, like just the soles of jandals, not the whole jandal. Like, it was bad.
Tom Doonan has repeatedly said to us that what we are saying on air doesn't represent the reality of life working in the sorting room at SaveMart. He has repeatedly insisted that gloves are available. He has repeatedly insisted that pre-sorting removes things like broken glass or syringes or pooey nappies before the sorters get to them. What's your sense of the reality of life as a sorter at SaveMart?
The only bales that are pre-sorted are the ones that come from another store, their last year's stock that hasn't sold, and it'll get moved to another store because that's already been priced on the floor. Everything else, the drivers pick it up from the side of the road, they close the bales up, and that gets delivered to the sorting people. There is no pre-sorting except the bales of old stock from other stores.
So when Tom Doonan tells us that bags are pre-sorted and therefore the risk of coming across a pooey nappy or a needle or broken glass or whatever is not high, that is not your recollection from 4 years at Newlyn SaveMart?
No, 100% that is not true, with the exception of the old stock, obviously.
From other shops?
They are not pre-sorted.
How are workers treated at SaveMart Newlyn, and can you be as fair as you possibly can in your description on the basis of your 4 years there?
We're treated like criminals. It's expected straight away the second you walk in that door that you're there to steal from them. There's no faith, there is no trust. We were specifically told you're not allowed to talk to each other while you're working, which because I'm the manager now and I employ people, I get that because you want people working and not just gossiping. But we were also told you cannot socialise with your co-workers outside of work hours. Like, it was, and they play you off each other. They don't want you. Yeah, you're treated like criminals. The staff are not allowed to buy anything, which seems silly because it's the same money. We don't get discount. It's going to charity. If you find something, you're going to buy it because you say we've got Saturday off. You want to buy it on Saturday. You find it on Friday. You're not allowed to put that on hold overnight because it's treated like you're going to steal it. It's just ridiculous. Come summer, it was not uncommon in the Newland branch for ambulances to be called because customers would faint from the heat in there because there's no proper air conditioning. The staff were in a similar thing. We weren't allowed drink bottles. When questioned, the manager, Robin, specifically told us, and I was there for that the reason we're not allowed drink bottles was because someone might spike them. That was her excuse for not allowing us to have water in the heat of summer when customers are fainting.
Ambulances were called, customers fainted.
Because of the heat. You go in there around December, summer, there is no aircon. It's a warehouse full of people. The changing rooms, people would faint from the heat.
Oh, that is a former SaveMart employee. She also told us that Saturday was their busiest day and they could pull up to $20,000 through the tills on a Saturday. Obviously, we would love to talk to Tom Doonan about all of the stuff. 31 stores, lots of their stock donated through the child cancer bins. Obviously, child cancer is a recipient of that money rather than the organiser. They have nothing to do with the way the business is run. We would also love to ask Tom Doonan what percentage of the revenue from the donations goes to donations